Good morning. Vanity, vanity, vanity. All is vanity. These words from the Bible best describe my life before I surrendered it to Jesus Christ. I was a prideful kid, directionless, loveless, and repressed. Materially, we had everything we needed and more. But we grew up without loving relationships. When my paternal grandfather, the patriarch, died in 1996, I witnessed my parents and relatives fight over control of businesses, money, power, influence. Court battles followed. It was ugly, and it drained our family of everything. My dad turned to drugs, and my mom tried to keep things together. But we fell from the heights of luxury to depths of poverty. No food, no electricity, no water. The house became a violent, hopeless place. At 13, I stopped going to school. I thought to myself, what's the point? Even with all the good life I'd experienced, it only led to devastation. My dad went through rehab several times, but by God's grace, in what became his last rehabilitation, he surrendered his life to Jesus. When he came home in 2002, he said he was a changed man. I didn't believe him, but quietly and curiously, I started attending the Bible studies he hosted. Then tragedy struck again. My mom, the breadwinner and glue of our family, suffered a massive stroke. She never fully recovered and became disabled for life. I was 15 at the time, and realizing I was free from her strictness, I began running away. I'd disappear for days and weeks, staying at friends' houses, returning only to do my laundry. My dad, whom I did not respect, had no control over me. Still, he must have been praying for me. After a few months of this disobedient lifestyle, when I had no one left to run to, he invited me again to a prayer meeting. Desperate and tired, I went. That meeting became a major turning point. Hearing God's word again, I came face to face with the truth. I was a sinner, prideful, rebellious, arrogant, and I chose to be that way. I chose to disobey. I chose to stop schooling. I chose to break my parents' hearts. I chose to live like I didn't need God, and I had no excuse and no one to blame. All these were my own choices to sin. On that fateful night in October 2002, I surrendered my life to Jesus. I asked for forgiveness, not just for the things I did, but for the pride and pain that fueled them. And in God's kindness, I was forgiven. For the first time in my life, I felt safe and free. As an out-of-school youth, I had time, and I spent it reading the Bible in our quiet, utility-deprived home. I told God, I just want to go to heaven, not in a suicidal way, but with a longing to live forever in His presence. After having everything and losing it, earth had nothing more to offer me. So I asked, Lord, when will I die so I can go to heaven? I asked over and over. His only reply, not until you finish everything I want you to do. And I, with clueless teenage boldness, said, then let's just finish it so I can go. That was the beginning of my journey with Jesus. As I read the Bible, my life began to change. God taught me how to love and serve my family. I also discovered a love for music and started teaching kids part-time at a music school. In 2006, I passed the Alternative Learning Systems test and was accepted into a prestigious university, earning scholarships and honors along the way. In 2014, I graduated magna cum laude, a milestone only possible because of grace. From dropout to scholar, from dishonor to restoration, but God wasn't done yet. In 2016, my disabled mother was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. After learning how to love my parents, I needed to face the reality that they will not be with me forever. In 2017, my then boyfriend, Jesse, now husband, started attending CCF services. This lit a new fire in my life. In 2018, I joined a D group. God continued to prepare me for a life of faith that included more battles along the way. In May 2020, my dear mama passed away. And in 2021, my papa remarried. I wasn't ready for him to leave, but I knew he needed a partner. Letting go of both parents, one to death and one to a new life, left me truly alone for the first time. I struggled with grief and depressing circumstances, with being alone, with job insecurity. I coped by eating and neglecting my health. By 2022, I was repeatedly sick. In April, I was diagnosed with diabetes and peripheral neuropathy. It hurt to walk, move, lie down. I was physically broken. It was during this time that the value of being in a D group really came alive. My D group mates comforted me through the grief. My friends would visit me regularly and check on me because it was my first time to live alone. I soon faced a new challenge, making disciples. My D group leader, Ate Susie, asked me to lead a group of single women. I didn't feel ready and I didn't feel worthy, but I obeyed. Today, Jesse and I serve in CCF Katipunan Exalt. I am also privileged to disciple other women. I enjoy friendships built on accountability. As a teacher, I find deep joy in supporting and loving my students. While I can say that I did not have any real plans to live or to do anything on earth, I can confidently say that in serving God in my family, in my workplace, in my church community, life is worth living because we are living for the Lord. There is no greater privilege than to be part of God's call to serve. While it was my choice to obey and trust God, it was ultimately His grace that reached out to me and His resurrection power that changed my life, giving me purpose and meaning. I am JJ Liao-Bernese, and to God be all the glory.